immigration, dispute resolution, Ghanaian customary and family law. At BWF, our solicitors are pleased to offer high-quality legal representation at competitive rates. Our senior partner, Bernard Owusu, has over 29 years' experience as a lawyer in the UK. BWF solicitors provide independent and practical legal assistance for all kinds of family matters, such as childcare, contested and uncontested divorce, and injunctions for domestic violence. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you in this difficult time, which is why we offer confidential advice delivered in a sensitive manner. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Family Law Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation in all family and matrimonial cases. Are you seeking advice on immigration-related matters? At BWF Solicitors, our immigration team are experts in dealing with everything from general immigration to complex immigration work permits, arranging student visas, as well as entry clearance visas, family visas, and appeals. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Immigration Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation. Our office is open from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and on Saturdays by appointment only from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are located at 4th floor Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London, N15 4NP, just a short walk from Seven Sisters Underground. Our senior partner, Bernard Owusu, is also a qualified barrister and a member of the Ghana Bar Association. He has acted as an expert in court cases involving aspects of Ghanaian law. He has also advised local authorities, the official solicitor's office, and other solicitors on the intricacies of Ghanaian law, and is a regular contributor on the radio and TV on matters concerning Ghanaian law.
Hello. You're welcome once again to Hanging Out with BWF Solicitors. I hope you had a very wonderful Christmas break, and you know, I know it was a quiet New Year. Everybody thinking about what's going to happen, as regards to the Omicron variant. People were, not sure what the prime minister was going to say, whether there was going to be a lockdown or not. So I know everybody was just, patiently waiting for what the prime minister was on. But hey, life still goes on. There was no lockdown. And I'm so excited to see you guys here again. 2022. We are bringing you more exciting topics. We are here to educate you. So please share this broadcast. You can, send in your questions to us on our Facebook page at BWF Solicitors, on our YouTube page at BWF Solicitors, and all social media platforms. May I also remind you that if BWF Solicitors is named as one of the top 3 solicitor firms in London. They specialize in immigration and nationality, Ghana law and practice, family law, dispute resolution. Today's topic is what an employee needs from an employer needs from an employee applying for a skilled worker visa. When I, advertise this on all social media platforms, I know whenever we bring out topics that are going to be discussed every Saturday at 1 p.m., I get a lot of people sending in questions already, asking questions, connected to what we are going to discuss today. And I know a few of you made contact with me asking few questions and does the employer need a sponsorship license? Also, people were asking this question: what is, a certificate of sponsorship, and how many types, there are? One other question that was very popular, people be asking was, what skill level does the employee need for employment? This and many more will be discussed with my learned solicitor, Mrs. Eunice Champong. She's also a partner at BWF Solicitors. Lawyer Eunice, you're welcome to today's program.
Thank you so much, Vicky. You look very gorgeous.
Oh, yes, yes. I told you,
I'm liking the
2022.
scarf.
Of course, of course, of course. We mean business, you
That's
know?
good.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I hope you had a wonderful break.
By God's grace, I
Yeah,
try to get
yeah.
some
I
rest.
know you solicitors do work throughout the, Christmas break. I'm aware of that, but at
But
least you're able to spend time with the family.
with the family, yes, that at least I could do because,
Mm,
of course, it's Christmas, and my daughter will say, "Mommy, when is Christmas?" And then when Christmas came, she said, "No, it didn't come because there was no snow." So now we have much colder weather. I don't know whether it will snow, but I'm sure when it snows, she'll say, "Mom, I think it's Christmas now."
mm, 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 mm.
So it's always a
Oh,
good thing to
wow.
spend the
Wow.
holidays with the family.
Good, 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 good. Well, before I continue with Laura Eunice, may I also inform all of you for those who would prefer, contacting me live on the program, we have a mobile number 0744 The number again is 0744 If you want to call me live in the studio, you can do so, and we'll be very happy to take your questions. If you prefer to send me a text message, you can do so on the WhatsApp or the main message. Send me a message, and I will also be able to pick those up as well. Please share to all your contacts on the platform. The reason why I'm saying this is, during the year 2021, I had so many people who confirmed that, um, a friend sent this program to me, and that was what I really needed, someone to help me with a particular immigration case. So when she got that, that it was shared. So when she got it, listened to it, made contact, you know, I should say the rest is history, and the person is now okay. So you feel, oh, let me just listen to it, for information, or because I'm going through it, I just want to listen to it and contact BWF solicitors. But please share to all your contacts and loved ones. I know someone out there, will this will benefit that person. So please do that. Yeah, back to you, Lawyer Eunice. Today's topic, you are concentrating on employers and employees, between an
Employee.
employer and employee.
Yes, sometimes we don't think that maybe the businesses that we have will be able to help facilitate somebody come and work or
Mm,
reside in the
mm,
UK. So a lot of the time we think we have what we have. Maybe it's a small business. We can get employees from the UK, and so why bother doing something like a sponsorship license to try and get employees or try and get workers from outside the UK? But the whole point of the skilled worker scheme is so that those that have employment skills in certain areas will be better suited for whichever company they want to work for. So there are
okay.
people that are pipe fitters, people within the construction industry, people within the restaurant industry, so
Right.
chefs and the rest. And so all of these businesses, when you go onto the government website, there is a whole array of employment should I say codes that you can use to facilitate somebody's entry or somebody's stay here in the UK. So it doesn't matter that you're a small business, or it doesn't matter that you are maybe even a big business and you run an agency or whatever it is,
Yeah.
if you have a job that the government thinks should be facilitated through a sponsorship license, then of course it's always a good idea to have that in place so that you can also employ somebody outside of the UK or somebody who lives here in the UK but
Okay.
needs that employment. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Laura Eunice, I missed one thing that I always ask you before
Yes.
we delve into the topic. Updates.
Yes. Okay.
Because my viewers will not forgive me if I don't ask you for updates. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so thank you to all our viewers and a happy new year to all of our viewers watching us wherever you are on YouTube, Facebook, and now we have BW Radio. So that
Yes.
is also another avenue for which people can also listen and also enjoy the program. And so, yes, this year, just to start us off, Vicky said that we have this Omicron variant that is roaming around everywhere. And so the government will always put in place measures to make sure that things may not get out of hand.
Yeah.
And of course, we thank God that it's not as serious as the variants that came out in 2020. So of course, when you're traveling as well, you need to make sure that you know what is in place in terms of the government's guidelines when traveling. We still have the red list countries. At least there are not many countries on the red list country, and so
Yeah.
please do check when traveling which ones are the red list countries, because of course there will be other um, guidelines in place for those who travel to those red list countries. But in terms of travel in general, the government have said that as of yesterday, if you were traveling and you were coming back to the UK by 4 a.m., of course, you would have had to previously take a PCR test, and then you would have had to also confirm that you don't have COVID before you travel. So you take that COVID test at um, 1 day or 2 days before you travel, and then that will confirm whether you are able to travel or not. But the government have said that if you're fully vaccinated, so this is for those that are fully vaccinated. So if you're fully vaccinated, you wouldn't have to test yourself before traveling back to the UK. And then, of course, from tomorrow, which is Sunday at 4 a.m., the government have also said that you don't have to do the PCR test on day 2 and day 10 as they would usually have done. You just have to take the lateral test at home, and you don't have to self isolate for the 10-day period that most people would have done. So usually they would have said self isolate for 10 days before going out after the PCR test.
Yeah.
So you come back, you don't have to do the PCR test, you just have to do the lateral test at home. If you do test positive, you can order for a PCR test, which will confirm that you do have COVID. But of course, those of us that are fully vaccinated would only have to do the lateral test at home and then go about our day to day business. I think this is just to make sure that business and the economy is running as usual, because we've not had such a great year previously. And then obviously in 2020,
Mm.
um, things didn't go as smoothly as the government planned. So this is just to make sure that people are back into work and people are doing what they need to be doing, just so that they don't have too many people at home. And of course, I think that is good news for most people. And other countries have their rules in place in terms of when traveling and the rest of it. And so it's also good to look at what other countries have in place in terms of travel. And so, a country like Ghana, when you are going, you have to make sure that you're fully vaccinated. If you're not fully vaccinated, you will have to take the vaccine, because they wouldn't allow you through the borders if you are not
Mm.
fully vaccinated. And so obviously those rules apply. And if you are somebody who is living in England and Wales or Scotland and you haven't taken the vaccine as of yet, the same rules of self isolation and the PCR test and the rest of it will still apply to you. So we should just take note of these measures and then also protect ourselves, as we usually say.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Because the new rule of people traveling, especially to Ghana,
Mm,
mm, who are, to be vaccinated before they board the flight. A lot of people didn't know. People
mm,
went to the airport believing that when they had the PCR test, which is
mm,
negative, it's fine, and they were asked to go back.
mm,
Yeah, and maybe
and
hold
that's
on later.
painful.
It's good you've raised that point here because I was also going to
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah, and I think
Mm,
that, of course, if you go on the Ghana High Commission website, it
mhm.
states it very, very clearly.
Yeah,
And when you go on the .gov.uk website as well, it gives you information as to other countries and
yeah,
what they are also
yeah.
doing. So it is always good to check these things before you
It's true.
travel,
It's
just
very,
to
very
keep
true.
yourself updated
Yes,
so that you
yes,
don't
yes.
find yourself having to reschedule holidays that have been booked and the rest of it. So
Mm.
please, please let us always check these things
Few
before
things.
we
You're right.
travel. And of course, we want ourselves to be having the best of the time that we've booked and not to come back sad and worried that we didn't do
Exactly.
the check-in before we went.
Mm,
So
mm.
yes,
Thank you
it's
so
one of
much,
those
Lara
things.
Eunice. Yeah, thank you so much. So, Lara Eunice, on today's topic, what I wanted to find out from you is, does one need a sponsorship license as a business to employ someone as, on a worker visa?
Yes. And the reason being, of course, if you are a business, you're an employer, an agency, what a company, whatever you may call yourself, if you are employing people and you think that, of course, you would like to employ somebody outside of the UK, or you would like to employ somebody in the UK,
Mm,
and of course that person is eligible to apply for a worker visa, then of course you have to make sure that you have a sponsorship license in place. So
mm,
most employers may not have a sponsorship license because most of the time you would advertise on the internet, you would advertise maybe in special newspapers or magazines for a certain role. And that is the usual thing that most people would do if they were looking for somebody. And so, if you are thinking about employing somebody who needs a visa, then the sponsorship license comes into place. And that means that you can employ somebody who is outside of the UK. You can also employ somebody within the UK who is not a visitor or who hasn't got like a short term student visa, or who hasn't come into the UK as a parent of a child student. So there are certain roles that, of course, you can give to people, but you have to make sure that you're eligible to apply for that skilled worker visa within that role. So employers will usually have to look out for these things when trying to employ somebody. And the whole point of the sponsorship license is also to make sure that the Home Office knows which employers are employing such people, and they can also do their checks and make sure that things are being done the way that they're
the way
supposed
they're
to
supposed to
have
be.
them done. And the online application is quite straightforward, simple application, but it depends on the employer. And so some
Mm,
businesses may have subsidiaries or other branches and the rest of it. And so, of course, if that comes into play, then I mean, the documentation that they would require would be a lot more than somebody who is running a small home business somewhere. And
right.
so they would always request certain documentation when you're making the application for that sponsorship license, and for you to put as much information about the roles that you are willing to offer. So, of course, they will definitely want to ask you whether you are offering roles for skilled workers or temporary workers, or should I say seasonal workers, as the Home Office would put it. So most of the time, most businesses know themselves, they know what they need, they would put in there, these are the kind of people that we are looking for. We don't want temporary workers or seasonal workers. We are
Okay.
looking for skilled workers who can do A, B, and C. And so the form does ask quite a number of questions, and then there's a fee to pay at the end of it all. Yes.
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, this is Hanging Out with BWF Solicitors. And today we've been discussing what an employee needs from an employer applying for a skilled worker visa. With me is lawyer Eunice Achampong. She's also a partner at BWF Solicitors. You can send in your questions to us on our social media handles, especially Facebook at BWF Solicitors and YouTube at BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors also have a radio, so you can also tune in and listen to this program live as well. My name is Vicky Newton. If you want to contact us live during this show, you can do so on 0744 8619 711. The number again is 0744 8619 711. I would love to hear from you. Laura Eunice, the certificate of sponsorship, how many
Yes.
types are there?
So usually, most employees that will be employed will need that certificate of sponsorship even before they can make the application as a skilled worker or as a worker. So what happens is that um, most employers who have been granted sponsorship license will have the ability to give those employees what they call a certificate of sponsorship. It's not a paper, it's an electronic certificate that
Mm,
is given to the employee who is going to be employed. And so I would say that once you be given a certificate of sponsorship, it doesn't guarantee that you will be granted a visa. There are other checks that will have to take place when the application is made before a visa is granted to you. So, with the certificate of sponsorship as well,
mm,
this is given to each employee or prospective employee that the employer wants to employ within a role, as whichever role that they have basically said they would occupy.
okay. Mm,
Once a certificate of sponsorship is given, it will contain the employer's details, their reference, the role for their prospective employee, how long they will spend within that role, how much they will be paid, and of course, if they do meet the other immigration requirements, that will also be stated on the certificate of sponsorship.
mm,
And so most employers will have a system between them and the Home Office called the sponsorship management system, and
okay.
that will allow them to grant that certificate of sponsorship to the prospective employee. And
Mm,
so that counts towards the employee's points that are needed for them to even make the application in the first place. And so for most employers, that certificate of sponsorship may be a defined certificate of sponsorship for somebody who is coming from outside the UK, for instance,
mm, mm,
or if somebody is within the UK and they are eligible to apply to the skilled worker role, they will give that person an undefined, um, should I say, certificate of sponsorship, so that they too can also use that
are
in
you calling?
their application for a worker visa.
Please hold on a minute.
So usually, if it's for a skilled worker role, then of course, once the certificate of sponsorship is issued, it will state the role. So if it's a skilled worker role, it will state that they are applying for maybe a construction role, but it is also within the skilled worker role, and therefore this
Okay.
is the certificate of sponsorship that is going to be given. So
Uh,
usually there are two types of certificate of sponsorships that an employer can give to a prospective employee.
All right. Lawyer Eunice, we've got our first caller on the line. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Yes. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Daniela calling from Nottingham.
Welcome to the show. What is your question for Lawyer Eunice?
I'm Happy New Year, Sister Vicky.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. My question is, I've just posted it on the platform. We have people, friends, a group of people who have a cleaning company.
Okay.
And we only do seasonal cleaning. We clean most of the student accommodation in here. And when it gets to that time around June, July, September, we struggle with workers. We do struggle. I'm repeating that because I know the troubles we go through. So my question I'm asking Lawyer Eunice is, can we also sponsor for the sponsorship license?
Okay.
If you can help us on this question, we will be more than happy.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to stay on the line quickly.
Stay on the line for us, please. Yeah.
Yes. So, are you willing to employ them for a whole year or 2 or 3, or are you saying that you just for the summer season because you need them, you just want to employ them for just the summer?
Yeah. When it comes to the student accommodation, yes, we need them for that seasonal period. That's from June to September.
Okay.
And after that, is then that we have in-house oven cleaning and carpet cleaning. And sometimes we do clean schools, we do clean hospitals.
Okay.
So for the seasonal one, that is the major concern.
Okay.
For the ongoing one, like having 5 oven cleaners and 5 carpet cleaners, that is not much of a problem.
Okay.
But if we can do that alongside, we are more than happy. But my main concern is like this coming July to September. We've just lost one contract because we couldn't provide workers around that time. And it's a major concern for me now.
Okay.
Okay. So in terms of the worker visa, that's why I wanted to specify that there is the skilled worker visa and then there's a temporary worker visa. The roles that are issued are very specific. So even if you are giving somebody a role, it has to be within the government's roles that have been listed as eligible. So I haven't seen anything for cleaners within the temporary worker role or the seasonal worker role. So something like that, you cannot even offer for a seasonal period because they don't have it available on the government's seasonal worker route or temporary worker route. So unfortunately, in that case, you would not be able to offer them that sponsorship for that short period of time. But of course, if you were to look on the government's list of eligible occupations, there may be something that will allow them to obviously come as employees under a skilled worker role. But that means that you will have to employ them for a period of 3 years or more. So it may not be suitable for you because you don't want them for that long period of time. So that's why I wanted to find out, is it just for that summer period, or are you looking to employ them for a much longer period? So usually, even if it's for 2 years that you're willing to employ them, then they will have to give them a specified period of visa so that they can obviously stay, and then before their visa expires, they can switch to whichever other role that they may be able to find. So I don't know if that helps in terms of your question.
But Lawyer Eunice,
so helpful. So what I will do is I will call the office.
Okay.
And talk to you in a lengthy way,
Yes.
so that maybe
Yes.
we can get where I'm coming from.
Yes.
And see
Yeah.
if you can help us.
Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Daniela. I wish you all the best with your
Yes.
company. I'll get in touch with you and see if I could also support you regarding clients. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Have a good day.
Have a lovely day.
Bye. Yes, there you are.
Yes.
Wow. But Eunice, why is it that the government wanted a long-term kind of contract? At least 6 months wouldn't be that bad, because
Yeah,
we're not
so
too sure whether
yeah.
the employees coming over are going to perform as you expected. So there should be something like probably 6 months minimum, so that if they don't perform as you wanted them to, after that 6 months you can just ask them to go back. Why for that lengthy period, 2 years, 3 years?
And so that's why the whole system is quite rigorous. So of course, before you even give that certificate of sponsorship, you as an employer have to make sure that the person that you are going to employ does meet all the criteria that they're supposed to meet for the role in which you are making that certificate of sponsorship.
Yeah.
And even after that, the home office themselves will also do their own checks to see this person meets all the other requirements under the immigration rules, even before they grant them the visa. So just because a sponsorship of certificate of sponsorship has been given doesn't mean that they are guaranteed a visa. It's just a step into them making the application towards that skilled worker visa. And so most of the time you will find that the seasonal worker roles or the temporary worker roles are limited to places like charities or farms or areas like the sports areas. So
Yeah.
they're very specific and
Okay.
narrow in terms of who a temporary worker or a seasonal worker should be, because they've done their own research and then they are also advised by the migration advisory team as well. And so they collect a lot of information and they sort of decide this is the area where we will grant skilled worker visa, and these are the areas where we will grant temporary worker visas. And so if somebody is coming as a skilled worker to work, and the employer says, well, I'm employing them for 1 year or I'm employing them for just 2 years, most of the time, because the visa for skilled workers is either for a 3 year or more than 3 year visa route, they
Yeah.
would usually grant them a 3 year visa so that at least they can find employment elsewhere once the first one has come to an end. And of course, if you are not able to get further employment, then it means that you have to return and you can no longer remain in the UK.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's quite specific. Unfortunately, they wouldn't allow all workers to just come for that short period of time. There will be too many people coming within that short time, and then it means they didn't do their checks properly before allowing those people to come into the UK.
Okay. All right. Well said, Lawyer Eunice. I know all these processes comes at a cost. So, what is the cost involved in bringing, or employing someone on a worker visa? What is the cost
So
involved?
when it comes to businesses or employers or people who have employment that they can offer, usually I know that for most companies, depending on whether they are big or depending on how small they are,
Yeah.
and usually this is determined by their turnover or their total assets or the number of people they employ. And so, for instance, if they employ 50 people or more, that will be seen as a large business. Or if,
Yeah.
yes, or if their total assets is more than 5.1 million, then that is seen as a large business. Or if their turnover is more than 10 million, that will be seen as a big business. Anything that is taking less than that is obviously seen to be a small business. And so when you make the sponsorship license, first of all, to be able to give people that sponsorship certificate, that is about £437 for a small business. And then for a large business, applying for a sponsorship license is about £1,476. So that's for the sponsorship license. And then once you are giving out a certificate of sponsorship to an employee, that will also mean that you have to pay for that certificate of sponsorship for each employee, which is about £199 for each employee that you will be given a job role to. And then, of course, you have to think about the fact that once you have employed that person, the government also has something that they call an immigration skills charge. And so that immigration skills charge is for that particular employee. So if you have 3 or 4 employees, you'll be paying an immigration skills charge each for those employees. And small business will pay something about just over £370 for the first 12 months. And then after that, they will be paying something around £186 each 6 months for that particular employee. But if you're a big business or a big employer, you'll be paying about £1,000 for the first 12 months and then £500 for each 6 months when that person is going to be employed. And then, of course, you have to think about the salary that you will be giving to that person once they come into the UK, which I think is roughly about 25,600. And then you have to make sure that it's either the job market rate or if you're in a shortage occupation job, like a health sector job, then you can pay them at least 20% less than they would be paid in the normal job market. So all of these things do cost money, but it is not so much that it will put you off employing somebody at all costs. So yes.
All right. Okay. I think someone was trying to call us.
Yes.
I miss him. Let me see if I can get hold of him.
Okay. So just in terms of the persons who are looking to employ anybody within that role, I think it's important that you check how much it costs in terms of salary levels.
Yes, we have a caller on the line. Sorry, Lawyer Eunice. Yes, can you tell us your question, please?
Yeah, my name is Yakin. I've got just one question to ask Lawyer Eunice.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got Presetto, and it was I fall out with my partner.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm thinking probably I've got a girlfriend now, and she's a Ghanaian, but I don't. She's got no status for now.
Okay.
Can I sponsor her?
No, did you get the question?
So he's British and he's falling out with his spouse and he wants to know if he can sponsor his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So under the immigration...
And that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so stay tuned and listen, yeah?
Yeah.
She's going to answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Eunice, back to you.
Yes, so in terms of the immigration rules, you can sponsor somebody who is seen to be a partner. So either that you are married to that person or you have lived with that person for at least a period of 2 years or more. So I'm sure his girlfriend is in the UK. I'm assuming she's in the UK. So if his girlfriend is in the UK and he's lived with her for a period of at least 2 years, then of course he can go ahead and make an application. But the only thing is the fact that once you're making an application, you have to meet the requirements.
Yeah.
And the requirements say that you have to obviously meet the relationship requirements, you have to meet the immigration status requirements, which she does not meet. And if she does not meet the immigration status requirements, then she is supposed to show that it will be unreasonable for any child who is a qualified child. So either that this man has a British child who is under the age of 18, or he has a child who is settled here in the UK, or they both have a child together who obviously is British or settled in the UK, or the child is 7 years old
Yeah.
and has at least lived in the UK for that 7 year period. So if they do have a child under the age of 18, then of course they can show that it will be unreasonable for this child to leave the UK. And of course, as a stepmother or a mother, she needs to continue playing her role in that child's life.
Okay.
And so they need to look at that as an exception to the rule.
Okay.
If there are no children involved, that's when they look at the relationship between the two of them. And the immigration rule states that they have to show that there are insurmountable obstacles to them being removed from the UK to the country where she is from. And so, if there are no children and you have to show insurmountable obstacle, which means there has to be some great difficulty in the two of you continuing your family life in Ghana,
Mm.
then that becomes an issue. So you have to show what that great difficulty is. Is it because you can't speak the language? Is it because you wouldn't find employment there? Is it because your life will be at risk? Is
Yeah.
it because you are greatly ill and you will not receive treatment in that country? You have to give them some great difficulty, and it cannot just be the fact that you can't speak the language. That
Yeah.
is not a great difficulty. It cannot just be the fact that you don't have any family members there. That will not be a great difficulty. So it has to be something which is very difficult to overcome. And
Mm.
so that is why we always advise that once you are married to a spouse here in the UK, it is always best to make the application when there's a child involved. It
Wow.
makes the application process easier, and then of course she too can be granted
Okay.
leave to remain in the UK.
Okay. Laura Eunice, I've got Nanajiman who sent in a question on Facebook. Hi, Nanajiman. He says, good afternoon, Vicky and Laura Eunice. If you are outside the UK, how can you get sponsorship license, or can we have a website we can get the agencies to apply for the license?
So with the sponsorship license, it's always done online. So if you are looking for employees outside of the UK, it is the employer who is in the UK who is eligible to make the application.
Yeah.
So the business has to be a genuine business that is running and trading in the UK.
Mm.
So if you are outside the UK as a director, or you are one of the CEOs of the company and you are outside of the UK and you think you can make the application, of course, it's online. You can just go into .gov.uk, type in sponsorship license, the application process will come up and you can make the application for a sponsor's license online. And also remember that you make the application paying it online, but you have to send the documents by post. And so they need at least 4 documents to prove how genuine the business is. And so they would request that you post those documents to them once the application has been submitted online. And so if you have somebody here in the UK who can look for those documents and post them, and obviously have that done as soon as possible, then that's great, because the documentation has to do with the business itself. So things like HMRC registration, PAYE numbers, business accounts for the year, obviously vetable businesses who can also use their references if the company is registered with uh, Companies House documentation to show the head office, the subsidiaries. So there are quite a number of documents that can be provided. And if you think that you can provide those as soon as the application is submitted, then why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Brilliant. Oh, wow. Laura Eunice, Kwame has a question. He says, I have a sister who has recently come to the UK on a short stay.
Mm,
She intends to find a job as a healthcare worker so she
mm,
can continue to remain here. She has made applications to certain care homes, but the
mm.
salary they are offering her is not up to 25,600 a year. does she need to look for one which will offer her that salary level as you mentioned?
Okay, so first of all, he says his sister has come here on a short stay,
Yeah.
and usually there are certain people who are eligible to make the application. He hasn't
Mm.
really specified how the sister came. So,
Yeah.
for instance, if the person came with a visitor's visa, she will not be eligible to apply under the worker visa. She would definitely have to go back to
Mm-hmm.
make the application from outside the UK. So
Yeah.
visitors cannot make the application, or people who may have like short-term, short study visas, paid employment engagement visas, those kind of things may not be able to make the application from the UK. If she were a student or she came here um, and she has finished education and she's applied to the graduate route,
Mm-hmm.
or she came here as a family member and she has that stay on that route, of course you have to look and see what routes they may be able to switch from.
Okay.
It's not everybody who can make the application to the skilled worker role. It is important that we put this in our minds, because those who don't have status at all cannot even apply
Exactly.
to the
Yeah.
skilled worker role. So it's important that we see those people who are also eligible to apply to the skilled worker role if they are in the UK. So if, for instance, she came as a student and she's making this switch, then yes, of course, she can um, look for jobs that will pay the salary level that she's looking for. And the fantastic thing about the health and care worker roles are that because it's in demand and
Yeah.
it's a much needed role within the UK,
Yeah.
the number of care homes that I know that have put posters on their walls that they are looking for employees,
That's true.
and it's not just independent care homes. You have the NHS nursing homes as well. You have obviously the hospitals and the rest of it. And so, because there is so much demand in that area, the government has seen that and has reduced the salary levels for those people within that area. So maybe they are not going to be earning 25,600.
Mm.
Maybe their salary level is going to be at the government's lowest, which is 20,480.
Oh,
If, of course, it's at that level, or it's 20% lower than the job market rate, then that's fine, because they are working in a shortage occupation job, and that in itself is good enough in
mm.
terms of um, being granted a sponsorship license. Because when they are looking at the breakdown, when the Home Office is looking at the breakdown, they are looking at whether you've been granted a certificate of sponsorship. They are looking at whether you meet the required skill level. They are looking at whether you meet the English language, and they're also looking at your salary level, which is tradable. So if her salary is not as much, she shouldn't worry about it, because the
Okay.
role in which she's applying is a one of the roles where the salary level is reduced.
Okay. All right. Great. Um, Adelaide says, good afternoon. For someone coming from outside the UK who wants to come and work, what is the required skill level needed by employers?
So, in general, of course, the government have said that they want somebody who meets a required framework level of at least level 3, which they see to be equivalent to having an A level.
Mm.
So, for instance, if you are doing child minding, or for instance, if you are doing care work, and then you have to basically show what your qualifications are. They don't necessarily ask for your undergraduate degree. They're very specific. So usually they are looking for people who've done some health and social care A levels or MBQ courses. So they're very specific as to the qualifications that you should have done to be able to even do care work. And so most of the time, people may have done something which is similar in their countries, and they will want to know if that course or that qualification that they have, even if it's not an undergraduate degree, whether that qualification can meet the required level framework within the UK. And now we don't have NARIC anymore, we now have ECTIS. So ECTIS can basically assess the qualification you have to see if it meets that required skill level
Yeah.
that the employer will be looking for. And so if it is said that the qualification that you have outside of your country meets that required skill level, then even better. Specifically for those who want to be, let's say, doctors or nurses in the UK, there are certain um, exams or assessments that they have to take to be able to even employ them. I mean, get that employment within that role. If they don't pass those assessments, they cannot even be granted a certificate of sponsorship to even work within those roles. So every job and the kind of level skill that they need. So if I'm going to apply as a police officer and they are looking for somebody who has done something which is equivalent to an A level, then of course, once my qualification outside the UK has been assessed to meet that requirement, they will be looking at either skills that I may have as well to see if I am eligible to apply for that role. So
Okay.
it's the same with most other professions. So it's not necessarily whether you have a degree, it's whether you have other qualifications or other things that you have done that won't meet that required A level framework that they are
Mhm.
looking for as
Mhm.
well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right. Amina says my cousin came on a student visa and has completed his undergraduate degree. Can he use that as a means to apply for a job in the UK?
Okay, so now her cousin or his cousin has made this application for maybe a graduate route visa because they've now completed some undergraduate course here in the UK.
Yeah.
If, of course, you are saying that they have completed this undergraduate degree, then they do meet that English language requirement because they
Yeah.
want to make sure that this person can speak English if they are going to be working here in the UK. And of course, if they have done a course here, they must have been able to speak and write
Yeah.
and read and listen in English. So they have to have all of that intact. And so having an undergraduate degree here in the UK, you don't even have to take it to ECTIS to be assessed because having done it here, it means that, of course, you do meet the required English framework level,
Yeah.
which is either a B1 or in certain job roles, it has to be a B2. So that undergraduate degree in itself guarantees that person having met the English language requirements. So they don't need to do any assessments or they don't need to do any test like an ESOL to be able to meet
Oh.
any English language requirement. So yes, that should satisfy that.
Mm. Wow, wow, wow. I think we've exhausted most of the questions. I've been able to cover all the questions that came in.
Okay.
Now, Eunice, briefly, if we could summarize what we've discussed so far today, and
Okay.
also leave your details for those who would like to contact you, especially Danielle. I think she wanted to contact you,
Yes.
book an appointment to come and see you. Yeah, if you could also leave your details for anyone who would like to contact you for further assistance.
Okay, thank you so much. So,
Mm.
yes, today we've just been looking briefly at how employers need to obviously employ other people from outside the UK or those that are within the UK and what they need to be looking out for in general. And of course, getting a sponsorship license is one of the first steps they need to take in
Yeah.
order to employ somebody in that skilled worker role. And of course, once you have a sponsorship license, it is usually valid for a period of 4 years before you have to renew it again. But of course, when you're looking to take somebody on a role, you have to check that that role is also one of the roles that the government has listed as an eligible role, as a skilled worker or a temporary worker or a seasonal worker. And then, of course, they are looking at things like their required skill level. It should be at least a required framework level 3 or above. So if they are able to meet the required skill level, that's a plus. If they are able to speak English and also show that their English is a level B1 or above, better. If they are able to also get a certificate of sponsorship from the employer to say that this sponsor is willing to offer them a job for this period, that is also a plus. When it comes to the salary, of course, they want to make sure that the employee is going to be offered a good salary, a good wage for the year. And the employer needs to make sure that they are offering that salary at the government's guideline, which is either 25,600, or depending on the job role that they have been offered, if it's within the shortage occupation, for instance, job roles, they can be offered something which is 20% less. Or if they're a new graduate and they are being offered a job, it can be offered at 30% less than what they would have been given. And then, of course, depending on what job they have within the science, technology, or engineering or math industry, they can either give them something which is 20% less than the usual salary. So all of these things have to be checked by the employer. And so, yes, if you're an employer within the UK, an agency, a company, a business, and you are thinking maybe this might be my solution to the problems that I have, please do get in contact with us, and then we can help you understand the process and also to make an application for a sponsorship license. So, as Vicky said, we are in London, BWS Solicitors. Our address is the fourth floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road. And of course, we are situated very, very close to the Seven Sisters station. If you want to come by train, of course, we are at exit 2. And so, exit 2, you come through and you will see a large building called Anna House on your right. If you are driving, we have a Tesco's just adjacent to Anna House, which is our building. And of course, you can park at the Tesco's for an hour and a half before your time is up. And if you do, of course, want to contact us remotely and obviously instruct us remotely, we can do so by you calling on 0208 493 7340. So our number again is 0208 493 7340. And we are open from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And so, yes, please don't hesitate to contact myself. Out of office hours is 075 3581 3910. Thank you so much.
You, Lawyer Eunice. On that note, um, we've come to the end of this very educative program. We hope to see you same time next week. But if you have any further queries, Dr. Lawyer Eunice has left her contact details for you to contact her. If you probably joined us in the middle of this program, you can you can just watch the whole recorded version on our Facebook and YouTube platforms. The recorded version will be on those platforms for you to watch from beginning to end. Thank you so much for staying with us throughout this show. And I believe that we will come your way same time next week with another interesting topic. Until then, take care of yourself. Stay blessed. See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specializing in a range of legal services, including family law, matrimonial law, immigration, dispute resolution, Ghanaian customary and family law. At BWF, our solicitors are pleased to offer high-quality legal representation at competitive rates. Our senior partner, Bernardo Wusu, has over 29 years' experience as a lawyer in the UK. BWF solicitors provide independent and practical legal assistance for all kinds of family matters, such as childcare, contested and uncontested divorce, and injunctions for domestic violence. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you in this difficult time, which is why we offer confidential advice delivered in a sensitive manner. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Family Law Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation in all family and matrimonial cases. Are you seeking advice on immigration-related matters? At BWF Solicitors, our immigration team are experts in dealing with everything from general immigration to complex immigration work permits, arranging student visas, as well as entry clearance visas, family visas, and appeals. Our senior partner is an accredited member of the Law Society Immigration Accreditation Panel, which guarantees expert representation. Our office is open from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and on Saturdays by appointment only from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are located at 4th floor Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London, N15 4NP, just a short walk from Seven Sisters Underground. Our senior partner, Bernardo Wusu, is also a qualified barrister and a member of the Ghana Bar Association. He has acted as an expert in court cases involving aspects of Ghanaian law. He has also advised local authorities, the official solicitor's office, and other solicitors on the intricacies of Ghanaian law, and is a regular contributor on the radio and TV on matters concerning Ghanaian law.